holding on. I gotta keep on holding on. I gotta keep on holding on. Holding on to His unchanging hand. Listen here, y'all. When the trumpets of the Lord shall sound, for all the saints to gather round the throne. When the roll is called of yonder in glory, I gotta be right there to hear God say my name. So I gotta keep on holding on. I gotta keep on holding on. I gotta keep on holding on. Holding on to His unchanging hand.
Okay. Hey, I want to respond to Sister Sunshine's video on tithing and talk about tithing and thoughts and stuff like that. And as you guys know, I'm not a biblical scholar, as lots of people like to point out. So I'm going to leave the biblical scriptural references up to other people, but I've heard the discussions about us not being under Levitical law anymore and that we're under the order of Melchizedek. I heard that discussion one time backed up, and I think the law of tithing is passed with Jesus. But I'm going to leave that discussion up to you guys. Personally, what we do, we do a lot more than tithing, numbers-wise anyways. For me, 15% of gross income coming in comes right off the top, and actually that goes into Yoke Up Ministries. No, I'm sorry, it doesn't. No, that goes into my tithing. Well, I call it tithing savings account, and then I split that savings account has 3 different compartments to it. One is Yoke Up Ministries, one is church, one is poor. And so every time money comes in, I put it into my savings account and I allocate it to those 3 little compartments. And then those accounts build, and then when there's a need, we have money and we're able to draw from them. It's the whole idea of the storehouse. Having the storehouse and being able to draw from that, so money's available for us to do that. And we just add to it regularly. Now, Yoke Up Ministries, I couldn't tell you how much we put into that. We put into that from our quote-unquote tithing, but then we also add a lot to that from just our personal money. Our thoughts are, it's not our money. None of it's our money. We're just pass-through conduits. So that's, in fact, we started asking a lot of the questions that you're asking, Sister Sunshine. That's the reason we got kicked out of the last church we were in. Because we started asking for accountability of the money. Now, here's where I had red flag alarms going off when you were talking. When you were sharing. Some of the things that just really, really jumped out. You said that in order for people to be members of your church, it's mandatory 15%. Okay, so already, they're mandating something that there's a strong biblical argument against. All right. Then you said 10% of that, so that's an alarm. The second thing is 10% of that goes directly to the pastor without question. Holy moly kaboli. I'm talking nuclear red flags going off. First of all, it's hard for me to even start on that one. The first thing is, I don't believe pastors should be paid a full-time wage from church. I believe pastors should work. I believe pastors should have jobs outside and work. The reason is that because they need to be out in and amongst the people doing work, getting a paycheck, understanding what the flock is all about. The other thing is that when you're out there working, you're submitted to a boss. You have a boss, and I think one of the problems with pastors is they become egotistical. They're all that. Nobody can touch them. Nobody can ask them any questions. In your church, nobody can even ask where the 10% goes. So, you kind of get that egotistical, I'm mightier than thou kind of a thing. And when you work for a boss and boss tells you to clean the toilets, well, it kind of humbles you, which is sometimes what it's all about. The other thing, if you mentioned that your church is more inwardly focused and not outwardly focused, and you got a pastor who's being paid a full-time salary, what's he doing? I mean, what is he doing for the waking hours of the day? I mean, at least thing he could be doing is standing out on the street preaching, sharing the love of God, doing something. I mean, if that's all I did was ministry, can you imagine how many videos we'd put out? Can you imagine how many truck stops we'd be visiting and doing? And so, that's the question. What is he doing? Or is it just a license to be lazy, and not do anything? The other thing is, if a pastor is getting 10% of the gross of what comes in on the tithe, that is a perfect tool for Satan to manipulate the message that he brings on Sunday to the congregation. Is he serving God with his message, which is one of the reasons we love the truck stop. Because when we preach at the truck stop, we tell those guys, hey, we'll probably never see you again. We don't care what you think about us. We're bringing the Word of God, period, end of story. Now, if you know that your financial income is going to be 10% of what everybody brings in, is that going to influence maybe, possibly, kind of, sort of, what you say it, how you bring the Word of God? Maybe. That opportunity is there. That's a big opportunity for Satan to get in the middle of manipulating the Word that the pastor brings. So, that part of it just does not make any sense. And as far as the accountability, everybody in the church should know where every penny goes. Everybody should know where every penny goes because it's not their money.
Not only that, but it's a non-profit organization.
Right, it's a non-profit organization, but the non-profits can get away with it by saying it's salary. So that's not going to be, under law they can actually do that, but under the spirit of God's law, you need to think about that. So I love you, Sister Sunshine. You know that. This is how I feel about the tithing and the giving of the money. We got kicked out of a church because we had people that were doing what your pastor does. And if I was to walk into a church like that and I found that out, I'd turn and run so fast, make my head spin, just because of the ability for Satan to come in and influence.
Yeah, let me just say something. Yeah, Sister Sunshine, he's not yelling at you. Don't get the idea he's yelling at you, because he's not. Or trying to argue with you. But yeah, I would say, question, your church, question your pastor, whoever's running the money over there, because you absolutely have every right to know where your money is going in that church and what's being done with it. So I would definitely suggest questioning.
Yeah, and, just the whole idea of anything secret in regards to money is an opportunity for evil to take over.
Anything secret in the church at all is you should be leery of.
As we love you. That's our thoughts on tithing. Coffee's almost done. See, we made it through there while making a whole pot of coffee.
Anybody want some?
Want some coffee? Caroline makes the best coffee ever. God bless you guys. God bless you. Remember, those that give to God, those that are sold out, born again, God-fearing, God-loving Christians will always give way more than what the tithe ever required. Because it's God's money, not our money. All of it. Every penny of it. Every penny of it. So God bless you. God bless you.
Keep on holding on. I gotta keep on holding on. I gotta keep on holding on. Holding on to His unchanging hand. Listen here, y'all. When the trumpets of the Lord shall sound, for all the saints to gather around the throne. When the roll is called of yonder in glory, I gotta be right there to hear God say my name. So I gotta keep on holding on. I gotta keep on holding on. I gotta keep on holding on to his unchanging hand.